Did you miss out on all the free shows? Did you forget to make reservations to the a la cartes and they were booked and now you don't get to experience them? Did you not put a towel on a chair and now you don't have anywhere to sit at the pool? Well, my fellow budget travelers, you found the right video because I'm going to show you about 15 things to make the most of your all-inclusive vacation. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video because the last tip is probably the most important out of this whole experience. So let's jump right into it. When you're staying at an all-inclusive resort, the whole idea is to sit and relax and no worries, forget all your problems at home. As soon as you get your room number, I want you to go straight to the reservations desk and just choose one a day for every single a la carte. Doesn't matter what they are. You don't have to think about dinner or what time you want to have dinner. It's already set, so you can just go to the a la carte. You'll have a reservation already. Of course, once you've tried a couple, you're going to get an idea of what you're into, what you're not into. So you can always change your reservations at a later date. But the idea is to at least get into each of the different restaurants. Some of them were always packed, places like the steakhouse or the Italian one, which I guess those were the most popular ones. But again, we just did one every day and it ended up working in our favor. That being said, the second tip I have for you is to try something new. This is your opportunity to try things you would never buy in like the real world. If you want to try that oxtail or you want to try something crazy, you can just try it. You don't have to eat it all, especially at the buffet. Just take a little bit, see if you like it or not. Then if you like it, go back for more. Or at the a la carte, what I like to do is order a bunch of different things and just kind of split everything. So just ask the waiter or waitress, like what's the limit on appetizers or entree and desserts, and see how many you can get, because this is your time to try it. Try those things that you have no idea what they are or what they would taste like, because those sometimes are your best experiences. Your parents are not there to make sure you clean your plate, and no one cares, like they really don't care. It is an all-inclusive resort, so you have the freedom to do whatever you want. Keep that in mind going into my next tip, is to check out the free shows that are going on. If you're really into that circus act or you're really into that world music night, go check it out and see how it is. If you don't like it, you can leave. There's nobody keeping you in your seat. You'll see it's a very casual thing. Go try those kind of shows that maybe you would never go to. Like for example, at this last place I was at, you can check out some of the entertainment here, but they had this like rock concert thing, which I wasn't really like into. I was like, nah, I don't know if I want to go. But my friend was like, oh, it should probably be really good because she's really into rock music. And we went and it was such a fun show. Like I really liked it. You might have this idea of what it's going to be in your mind, but once you're there, it could blow your mind. So don't miss out on those free shows. And again, it's all included. It's free and you can leave if you want. Tip number 4 is to get out there and socialize. This is your opportunity to meet people from all over the world. And trust me when I tell you, especially if you're staying somewhere for like 5, 6, 7 days, and you're only with the same person nonstop 24/7, you're going to get at some point a little annoyed at each other. That's just like how life works. At some point, somebody's gonna be hungry when the other one's tired, or vice versa. You're gonna wanna mix things up a little bit. So the best way to do this is to socialize and meet people, and that way you can kind of have your own alone time, or the other person can have their time. Meanwhile, you still get to socialize, you're not there by yourself. And going into dinners and things, you can go to dinner with people you've met. I've seen like groups of 10 people that I saw at the swim up bar. Like they met at the swim up bar and then they were like, hey, let's go to dinner tonight. And it's so fun because, you know, the more people there are, the more things you can order. You could just have a spread on the table and you guys can share everything. It gets really fun, especially when you're meeting people from all over the world. Maybe you've never even talked to somebody from outside of USA. So this is your opportunity to get that global experience in the comfort of like the 4 walls of an all-inclusive resort. And the idea is to find the right balance. Like you don't want to go too hard every day. Like you get up, you go to breakfast, you go on an excursion, you come back, you go to dinner, you go to the show, you go to the club, because you're going to burn out halfway through your trip. So the idea is to kind of pace yourself and make sure you have a day where you do just relax, because the whole idea of the first place to come to an all-inclusive resort is to just chill. I like to do this on the first day because it kind of helps me clear my mind and just get into the groove in a warm tropical place. If you don't, you're going to go back home and you're just going to be tired and you're going to be like, I need another vacation, even though I just took a vacation because I did way too much on vacation. If you're not in the mood to socialize and you do want to just like relax the whole time, I really recommend getting up early and going down to the pool to put a towel on your seat so you have somewhere to sit. Because a lot of these all-inclusive resorts, they get really packed around the pool and the beach. So you want to make sure you have a chair to sit on once you wake up and finish eating breakfast and all that stuff. So usually what we do is one of us will wake up early at some point and we'll go down to the pool and use our towels from the previous day. So this is the key tip here. Before the towel shop closes, because usually it closes around like 5 or 6 or so, you're going to exchange your wet towel or dirty towel for a fresh new one. That way, when you get up in the morning to go down to reserve your seat before the towel place opens, you have a clean towel already. Moving on to tip number 7. This one's really important. You need to wear your sunscreen, guys. Like, you're going to be so close to the equator. Usually you're on this exotic tropical island. The equator is like right there. So the sun is different there. You're going to burn. Day 1, just don't be out in the sun all day because you're going to burn and then you'll be burnt for the whole trip and it's going to be a disaster. You're going to be like, why did I do that to myself? There was one vacation where I fell asleep on the beach, like fell asleep on my stomach, and I woke up and my whole back was red. My whole back of my legs were red. I could not wear pants. I can just tell you, it is so uncomfortable to sit when you have sunburn on the back of your knees. Just trust me when I say, just wear sunscreen. Don't forget your sunscreen. You are near the equator. Tip number 8 is once you check into your room, make sure you test the toilet, test the water pressure, make sure you have hot water, check for bed bugs, check for all this kind of stuff, because you never know. So it's better to be safe than sorry. Trying to take a cold shower because you don't have hot water, it's like the worst feeling. This way, all the drama stuff is done on day 1 and you can just relax for the rest of the trip. Tip number 9 is getting into the fun stuff. So while you're at the resort, keep in mind that everybody who works there is there every day. Some of the people that you meet on vacation have been there for like a month. I met somebody who was staying there for 3 months at one point. So ask around, like, what's good. If you can't think of what to drink, ask what they would recommend to you. For example, the last place I was at, they had a drink called Dirty Monkey. So it was a frozen drink with banana and chocolate and rum. It was so good. Because I was like, guys, I don't really want a pina colada, but I want something kind of like, I don't want it really heavy, you know, stuff like that. And they're like, dude, Dirty Monkey, that's what's up. I wouldn't have had that experience if I didn't ask. You know, I probably would have been stuck drinking the same thing the whole time, because everywhere you go also has their own cocktails and has their own thing that they're known for. And if you don't ask, you're going to miss out on a really fun opportunity. The next fun opportunity is to drink out of a fresh coconut. So every morning when you wake up, you're going to hear like them chopping the palm trees, because sometimes there's a storm that'll come through, or there's just a big coconut that's about to fall. So they cut them off the tree so it doesn't fall on a guest. So while they're doing this, they're just kind of collecting a bunch of coconuts and palm tree leaves and all this stuff. So you can ask like, hey, can you cut one of those open with your machete for me? Can you just like pop that coconut open for me? And if you give them a tip, I'm sure they'll do it. Like, it works like a charm every time I go to an all-inclusive resort. They do sell them on the beach, but those guys will like rip you off. They're probably like way too expensive. So just give like a couple bucks or like however much you want to give to the lawn care guy and he will hook you up. Every all-inclusive resort I've been to has this thing called silly games. And guys, when I tell you it is so funny, it is so funny. One time we had to run around and try to make a costume together. So for example, you had to go and borrow a hat from somebody. You had to go and borrow flip-flops from somebody. And we were kind of like dressing up our other partner in the game. So everybody was racing against each other, seeing who they could like hustle into like giving them their stuff for the game. And then another one, they had like a water flip cup thing. So somebody was in the water holding an empty cup, and then the other person had to toss an empty cup and they had to catch it in the other cup. So you never know what you're gonna see. Some of these games get really creative and they're a lot of fun. If you don't wanna play it, just go at least watch it, because this is one of those things I've only seen at an all-inclusive resort and they're so much fun. The next tip I have for you is to make the most of your time. If you want to get out and explore the resort and see all that it has to offer, I would say the best time to do this, honestly, is at night, because at night, at some point, you're going to be tired after dinner. You're just going to want to take a walk. Or I also suggest early in the morning while the sun's coming up and it's kind of too cold to just like sit by the pool, because that pool time and that beach time is really valuable. Sometimes like a storm will pull through during midday. So if you're trying to like get that sun and you missed out on the sun and you're gonna be like, I didn't even get to tan this whole trip, that's going to drive you crazy. So I really suggest exploring during kind of off hours. That will allow you to still have your time to tan and get that nice color on you. That being said, if you're kind of getting tired and sleepy or you're getting too much sun, you don't need to go back to your room. Like, you want to try to stay out of your room. So this is the whole point of being at an all-inclusive, because they have so much other stuff to do. You don't want to just be in your room. You want to be out experiencing some part of wherever you are, the beautiful weather and all that stuff. So keep in mind, when you're at the pool or at the beach, there's shade. So just go take a nap in the shade. Take a break from the sun for a couple hours or for the rest of the day. That way you're still out and experiencing the ocean waves and, you know, all the vibes. And this way you're not wasting time napping in the room on vacation. I also do suggest taking a nap at some point throughout the day, because you forget that the sun just like drains you and you're just going to be tired for the rest of the night. So if you could get even just a quick 20 minutes in, it will refresh you so much. And it's like the best when you're in this nice comfy wind blowing phase with the ocean waves and stuff, because it will save you in the long run. Tip number 14 is more of like a sensation thing that I'm into that I don't want you guys to miss out on. So hear me out. When it is raining, it's like a cold rain, right? But it's hot out. It's usually hot and humid. So there's something about that sensation. The air is kind of hugging you and the rain is kind of like pelting you. It's the coolest feeling. So I really suggest taking a walk in the rain. Even if it's just like a short walk, I don't know, there's something about it that's just so refreshing. And guys, let's be real. A lot of times you're coming out of the pool anyway, so you're already in your swimwear, you're already wet. So just take advantage of that and just like go and experience this. And the best one, honestly, is if you go into the ocean and walk the beach while it's raining. Because guys, the water is so warm, the air is warm, and then you just have this like cool sensation of the cool raindrops. So that's more of a personal thing, but it's the kind of sensation you can only have really at an all-inclusive resort destination. And now we've come to the last and final point, the most important one, and this is a big one, guys. So the most stressful part of your whole trip is going to be landing in the airport, because no matter where you are, there's just something about these island airports where there's so many timeshare presentations that are coming up to you like, oh, do you need transportation? Come over here. Oh, do you need a taxi? Come over here. Like, people are coming out of the woodwork to like snatch you and bring you places. And it can be so overstimulating, especially when you've just taken a 4-hour flight or however long it's been, and you don't understand the language at all. It just gets really stressful. So what I suggest is arranging your transport as part of your package, because that round trip shuttle is going to save you so much time and effort, because the taxis are not going to rip you off if you're in a shuttle. You're not going to get pulled into a timeshare presentation if you already have a shuttle set up. So it's really easy. A lot of times you're wearing some like bright and colorful shirt like this one, and you're just going to go straight to that person and they're going to know exactly where to go. And it'll get you on vacation faster. So guys, if you like this video, hit that like, and don't forget to watch these other all-inclusive tips, because I'm talking all-inclusive tips all month.